Happy day, happy Monday, one and all. Welcome to your week. Ready for the door grind. And yes, my name is Grindhead Jim. Welcome to the show. Want to just get right off the bat and say hello to everybody in chat. Kieran Ball once again doing a lot of the work for me. So I'm going to go right there with Brendan, Johnny, Bjorn, Jim Largo, Jason Garcia, Anonymous Dude 123, Boba Hicks, Gojitron, We're Fantastic Toy Adventures, Ken and Nolan. And also I see Will McLaughlin and Jonathan Redmond in chat as well. So welcome everybody to the chat. Ralph, it's definitely okay, Ralph. Godzilla only attacks giant monkeys. That's right. That's right. So Ken, tell Ralph everything's okay. Everything's okay. Welcome again, Ian Sweeney. I see Keith Knight as well. You guys are just swimming through the chat with the greatest of ease, like flipper, flipper. So I'll kind of let that do its thing. I hope everyone had a great weekend. I certainly did. Had a great time with the patrons on Saturday night. Maybe a little bit too much of a good time. It was good. It was a good time. It was good. And the week is looking up. I do have an update to share with you on those of you who contributed to the auctions. I talked to Rolo earlier today. We'll be talking again later tonight. His goal is to have everything shipped out on Wednesday. It will take some time for it to get to you, but that is the goal. He has most everything packed up. He has all the shipping addresses. We're going to finalize a few details, and they'll be on their way to you guys this week. It will take some time, like I said. Customs is a thing, and everything else, but everything should be on its way to you shortly. So, very excited about that. So we're going to do that as well. And today we're going to talk about a few different news items, and the last one I want to try and ruminate on a little bit, and then we'll go from there. All right. So starting out this week's news is a bit of an odd one. Storm Collectibles is now an exclusive deal with Big Bad as their official online retailer. Meaning you can, if you like Storm Collectibles, you can only get it from Big Bad now. Which, depending upon how you look at it, is either great news or curious news or a little bit of both. Um, I can't say that I blame Storm for making this deal. It probably takes a lot of heavy lifting off of their plate, right? Because they only got one place that they have to ship, and there's going to be one consistent, experience for anyone that wants Storm Collectibles stuff. They're not the biggest company out there, but they're coming out with some cool stuff this year, and so it's interesting to me that they're moving in this direction. And Jason with a great point here. Jason said that's odd because I know a local guy who sells them in his shop, and it's exactly like I don't know. This is exclusive online retailer, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to be able to get them in brick and mortar stores. I think they're just going exclusive online with BB. However, it didn't say exclusive retailer, the official online. So I don't think local should be affected. But Jonathan Redmond with a good point. He doesn't like the idea of an entire line being exclusive to one seller. It's exclusive to one online seller, but I can certainly understand why that would be problematic. I like open markets to be open, right? But we'll see what the actual long-lasting effect is. Ken says, and welcome. I bought the Storm Collectibles NW Hulk Hogan. They nailed down the details and face sculpts. So you're speaking to the quality of the toys and the availability. It's going to vary, right? It's going to vary depending on where you go. And Jonathan says that they do make awesome stuff. Their Mortal Kombat figures are just epic. So I knew someone was going to say it. More damn exclusives? Yeah, yeah. So they're exclusive to Big Bad. Now, here's my thing. Depending upon how you look at it, all right, Big Bad is usually pretty good when it comes to the pre-sale stuff. And with Storm being the kind of company that you either like them or you don't, um, I doubt this is going to affect the availability. But time will tell. I wanted to bring it up so you guys knew about it, so that when you heard about new things coming out, you knew where to go if you didn't have a local shop that does carry them. I looked around, I couldn't find any evidence that, brick and mortar stores that currently get them would cease being able to get them. I haven't seen any evidence of that. So, uh, Jason, I'd be interested to see if your buddy that does sell them in his shop, if he's going to have difficulty finding them. And if you do find that out, please let us know because it is something that affects people. So we want to make sure everyone has, you know, what they're looking for. Speaking of things that people are looking for, we'll move into our next. And here's another good point. Nolan makes a great point. He says Big Bad's great in the States, but not so much if you live in Canada. Yeah, I wonder if maybe part of this is a move on Big Bad's part. Maybe they're going to start expanding where availability is. Hopefully so. Hopefully so. So, moving on to our next item, there's a new retro carded Ghost Rider coming out in the Marvel Legends line. For me, this is a huge win in terms of the figure, even though it has been commented this looks like a cross between Johnny Blaze and Ketch. I agree with that, but for me, that kind of makes it the best of both worlds. It makes it a unique thing. I like the accessories that are there. The pre-orders go out later this month. But what's weird about this is that there's no bike. There's no bike. And the prevalent rumors right now are that that bike's going to end up on HasLab. And if that's the case, I'm going to be really pissed off. That makes no sense at all to me. Why that would happen. Now, again, this is just a rumor, so I don't know. I don't know if there's any truth to that rumor at all. I hope it's not correct. And I have a feeling that they might just simply be releasing a different version of Ghost Riders with a motorcycle. So I don't know. It's an anniversary year for him, so I don't know what they're going to do. I really don't. So I was worried that they weren't going to do anything with Ghost Rider. I really want a Ghost Rider in my collection. Not to mention that there's plenty of motorcycles that are available in the line now. Now it's not his, right? But there's enough bikes available to you could customize one if they just are stupid and don't release one. And Will says, do those legs look like he's on a bike? They certainly do. They look like they have the articulation for it. And, well, he asked, what's up with the old fashioned packaging? Well, Marvel Legends has a lot of retro carded stuff that comes out. And this year, especially with this being a re release of a figure, I think that's why they're doing it. It does look like he's doing that for sure. Jim Largo saying it's the same body as from 10 years ago. Okay, that's fair. I'm not happy about that. I thought it was a new sculpt. See, this is why I like having you guys around. And World Meta Cardboard says, man, I'm just glad I don't collect modern toys now. I just look and buy every now and then. Like, yeah. So there's certainly things, it's a throwback to the Toy Biz packaging as well. Coach Trump says, I need an original 70s jumpsuit, Johnny Blaze with a cycle. I'll accept no substitute. And that's fair. I'm more of a Catch guy myself. I like this outfit better, personally. However, I understand the need for the original, and I hope you get one. And I'm willing to bet they're going to do another version of Ghost Rider that is the classic Blaze one, and I'll have a bike with it. I'll bet you that. As long as I don't make that HasLab, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Jason says, Marvel, reusing molds? Never. Never. Yeah. I was just excited that there's a Ghost Rider coming out because I want one. And I agree that the bike is just, not having a bike makes no sense to me at all. Jonathan says, Jim, I heard there were tweaks made to the original figure to make it more modern. Okay. So we don't know for sure. We don't know for certain. Yes, I like the flaming head as well, Anonymous. I like the flaming head as well. I like that as well. So getting into something that's a little bit different, type of news I don't normally share on here. Okay. PlayStation Plus, not PlayStation, Paramount Plus, PlayStation Plus. Paramount Plus is doing a Star Trek Day celebration on the 8th of September. It's about 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks. And it's live streamed and it is free. You can watch it on YouTube and everything else. It's almost like an online virtual convention for Star Trek. And they're having panels for all the Paramount Plus stuff. So you got Picard, Lower Decks, Prodigy, Strange New Worlds. It is what it is. I'm not a fan of the new stuff, but they are also doing a tribute to Nichelle Nichols. They're doing some behind the scenes for Discovery. They're doing like this thing where they're transforming a fan into an alien, like this kind of neat. And they're doing like a musical guest with Reggie Watts, and they're also doing Brian Posehn doing stand up. I'm a huge Brian Posehn fan. I think it's really, really, really cool that they are doing that because he's a great comedian. And it's all free. It's just something you get to do. And then they're going to cut up all the content and put it on Paramount Plus if you want to watch it again later. So being it's completely free, you can pick and choose what you want to watch. I think it's interesting. And I know there's some Star Trek fans in the audience. So I wanted to bring that up because I'm into it. So just wanted to share that with you guys as well. Rolo says, "Oh, Captain, my Captain, I do report late. Please don't cut my hands. Dude, don't worry about it. You're a couple minutes late. It's not a big deal. You're all right, man. You're all right." And Nama saying, "Great. Star Trek deserves more celebration." I agree. I think it's interesting to me that there's nothing about the Star Trek the motion picture reissue on this. I think it's weird. Um, I don't know. I find that curious. And Will goes, "You reminded me. I need to cancel my Paramount Plus. I got it for $1 on Prime Day. Haven't watched much of it. I enjoy it, and they're getting much better than they were. Um, I like having most of the streaming services so I can just kind of find anything I want at any given time, and I still buy hard copies of all the movies that I really want. So, but if you're not ready to go down that road with Paramount or Paramount Plus, I don't blame you. But speaking of streaming services doing some stuff, Peacock is going to have Jurassic World Dominion, both a theatrical and extended cut, starting on September 2nd. It's pretty cheeky. The week after the 4K releases, they're like, "Oh, by the way, in like 3 weeks, you're going to have it free on Peacock." Now, of all the different streaming services that are out there, that are independent of like an Amazon Prime or something like that, I do recommend Peacock. I do, because for one price you get a shitload of movies because it's all Universal stuff. You also get access to most of their TV shows for nothing because I'm a cord cutter. I don't do TV. And you also get, if you're a wrestling fan, they have rolled the WWE network into it. So you get everything. And then the price isn't bad at all. Um, Now I will say this. Johnny's like, "Oh, the extra bugs cut." Hey man, I bought it on 4K last week and I watched it, and I only watched the extended cut. I have not seen the theatrical cut. I like the extended cut just fine. I dug it. I liked the whole thing. I thought it was a fun movie. It didn't have to like change how I think about anything. It was just there to entertain me, and for me, it was entertaining. I enjoyed it, and it was nice to see the Giganotosaurus in action. I got the toy over there. I'm gonna pull him out eventually. But if you already have Peacock, it's worth a watch. If you don't have it, and anything else I said kind of makes you think I might want to try that, it's worth it. Like for me, it's worth it just so I can watch American Ninja Warrior whenever I want. Honestly, that's why I got it. He's like, there is one? Yeah, there is definitely an extended cut. That is 100% true. And it's like 14 minutes longer. And I liked it because the pacing of the film never felt like it was bogged down by extra footage. You got to explore everything that the story seemed to want you to know. I never felt like the movie got slow, and I liked the structure of it, and I really enjoyed the movie. It was a very good conclusion to this current sequel. I'll put it this way: in terms of sequel trilogies, Jurassic Park is heads and above Star Wars by a lot. Like I loved all three of these. Like they were fun, entertaining popcorn movies. That's all they ever had to be, you know. And I had a good time. If you're not into them, that's okay. I totally get it. Jason, I understand if you can't sit through the extended cut. I know you may not have 14 extra minutes in your life. I totally get it. And he's saying he loves the franchise, but the movie kind of disappointed you. Fair enough. Anonymous dude with a question: one of my top three streaming services right now. He says Disney, Netflix, and he can't name a third. I would have to say, generally speaking, I come back to HBO Max the most. And I would say Peacock is probably the second one for me. And then probably just Prime in general. I just enjoy Prime. I've been watching Netflix more lately, but that's because I have not been watching it for a while. I've been going over there for like true crime documentaries and stuff. But generally speaking, I tend to have a great time with HBO Max. I really enjoy, um, like I said, Peacock, and Prime overall is pretty good. I do enjoy the Discovery Plus. I'm interested to see what's going to happen when they do this merger and how that's going to look, because that might be just too much stuff in one place for me. But at the same time, I like both of those platforms. I'm on both of them, so unless they start taking away obscene amounts of content, we should be all right. But they're already showing that they're yanking stuff, so I don't know. I don't know. Jim, I'm always rooting for dinosaurs to win, dude. Always. Always. Go to Trump says, did they use that extended 15 minutes to explain where the damn Barbasol can came from? No, they did not. No, they did not. It was a cool little cameo, and I'm like, but how? Who went looking for that thing? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. I wouldn't count YouTube though, Jason, unless you pay for the TV service. And in that case, I can understand it. I like Disney Plus quite a bit, but I'm only on Disney for the original content for the most part because I have all the Marvel movies that I really want, all my movies anywhere. Like I love movies anywhere, dude. Like I love it. Um, so oh, Jason says it's in the Camp Crustaceous series to show how they found it. I haven't watched that yet. I probably should check that out. Probably should check that out. Now, moving forward, we all know how much we hate page punchers around here. Not a fan personally. I've seen them. I've seen up close pictures of them. They're crap figures. I love the idea of them, and I've often said if they did that with a 7-inch figure at a similar price point, I'd be more into it. Guess what they're doing? 7-inch figures with the comics in them. This is an interesting idea. We'll see how it works out. They're starting with an Injustice 2 Batman, and just judging from this weird picture, it looks like it'll be a half decent figure relative to the fact that it is Todd McFarlane doing his thing. But they have a bunch of other figures that are coming. They've got Flash, has a few villains. They have Heatwave, Captain Cold, a variant of Captain Cold, a Barry Allen Flash, Gorilla Grodd, Green Arrow, Doctor Fate, Supergirl, another Batman, and the Atom, with it being Ryan Choi. So there's some cool, there's some cool stuff coming. And this I didn't know. He says I don't get why it's the same comic in every one. Now, the original Page Punchers had a different comic for each one. If these all have the same comic book, it's a big whiff for me. I didn't know that. That's weird to me. I don't know why they would do that, but we'll see. We will see. Ian Sweeney says, no Superman, I'll pass. Fair enough. There might be other ones coming, though. There might be other ones coming. We'll see. We will see. We will see. So getting back into the more fun stuff, more toy-related things. No, it's not Camp Krusty. It's Camp Crustacean, sir. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. All right. Packaging reveals MOTU Origins, Ratlore, Cobra Khan, and Snake Armor He-Man. These look bad ass. They look badass. I particularly like the armor on Snake Armor He-Man. It's really cool. The customization options are pretty wild. Like he just got some cool of all the different versions of He-Man that we've seen in the lineup to this point. This one looks the most radically different from the others, in my opinion. And it just looks so freaking cool. And it makes perfect sense because when you're battling against literal snake men, you need to cover up their beefy boy because they're gonna bite you. They're gonna bite you. I don't know why he doesn't have armor on both his shoulders, but you know, it's fine. But I'm very excited about this whole wave that's coming. I'm very excited about it because it's a departure for the current toy line, right? It's a throwback to one of those times that when these first came out when I was a kid, it felt like they'd waited so long. And now it just seems like as an adult, because of the way time passes as an adult, this just makes sense. Like bring me the Snake Boys. And there's some really cool stuff coming for sure. Now, on that same vein, I've got other stuff for you to show off from MOTU Origins. So, from the Sunman portion of the line, we've got the Boltman artwork, which is great. It's got the cross cell on the back, shows Ratlore, Cobra Khan, Snake Armor He-Man. It's a cool looking figure. It's a cool looking figure. Definitely in for it. And again, when it comes to these Sunman figures, if for nothing else, because they are semi-unique sculpts, there are some things that they have that other characters don't. Again, the customization options become pretty cool. So, and yes, Jim, I am also waiting for Toddy Mac to fail and for Mattel to regain the DC Universe franchise. I'm legitimately hoping for this because I think Mattel had it right when they had it, sight unseen. So it's okay though. I mean, toys will toy, right? Toys will toy, and it's the oh yeah, Sunman does have a fantastic story. I agree. I agree. It's good stuff. Welcome addition to the line. I love it. A lot of people are like, well, I didn't have those when I was a kid. I didn't know anything about them. It's not part of MOTU at the time, therefore it's not in there. I totally get it. I hear you out there. But for me, it's a cool way of injecting new characters into the line without it feeling like they're shoehorning something in with no nostalgia attached to it. I love that part of it. We're getting something new. We're getting brand new characters that actually existed back in the day. They just weren't an official part of the line at that time. I think that's cool. Personally, that's me. Now, I'm going to walk you guys through my latest hauls. So, this is what I got last week. Going from left to right, we have let me pull my cam up. We got a Marvel Kang, so it's a retro style Kang. This has been out for a while, but they got a new shipment in a couple weeks ago. I was happy to snatch one up. And then on the far right, I got a retro carded Cyclops. I don't know if you can tell with the lighting, but he's got this really great metallic blue and in there, and I want to paint match that and paint over all the white X stuff. So his head, his chest, and his arms, and then I'll get some yellow and paint his boots and his hands. And I've got a classic Cyclops below retail price. He was $17, so can't beat that. And then going back to the left side, we've got the Marvel Legends Retro 3 3/4 scale Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man, which was a huge get for me. I did get two of them. I will be opening one, but I'm waiting to do that on a video to freak people out. To be perfectly honest, to be fun. Be a lot of fun. And then we also have in the center, we've got an Action Force Delta Trooper with the Delta gear set on it. And Cheer Bear is also stepping on a second backpack set. So I have two of those now. I'm never going to run out of backpacks in that set. Dead center, we have a Marvel Legends set of Peter Parker and Ned Leeds from Homecoming. It's a new release, hence no bubble. I hate the packaging. I understand why they're doing it, but if you're going to do that, why have a picture of the characters of the figures on there? Why wouldn't you just show artwork? Do something cool with it. And then you open it up, and it's just cardboard and some like tissue paper, like a padded tissue paper holding the stuff together. It's completely like there's no reason to hang on to this packaging at all. If they had really cool artwork on the front, it might be worth saving. But as it is, I will not be saving this packaging at all. But the figures are great, and I'll be doing a video on them as soon as I possibly can. And then in the back, we have the 2000X Skeletor, Mantenna, Pighead, and the 2000X He-Man. All of them are just pretty good. I really like them. That Skeletor, I'm going to take the head off and mess around because that might end up being the base for my Ultimate Skeletor custom. Because he's just got some really cool paint deco on him. His feet are blue with claws rather than being just all a big purple boot. So it's much closer to the original cartoon as well. So it makes it really interesting for me. Really interesting for me. Dun, 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 dun. Just checking chat here, guys. So if you're looking for like DC characters at a decent price, in all honesty, and you're gonna laugh at me, but I would still say the original Superpowers line. For the amount of money you're spending, it doesn't get much better than those. Um, but I hope Mattel gets them back because the Mattel stuff that they had um, a few years ago was really good. And some of those figures are very hard to get and get expensive. But depending upon the characters you're most into, the Superpowers revival that Mattel did might be the way to go. Might be the way to go. Just depend on what you're looking for. Hey, look, man, I like those two bears. The pink one, Cheer Bear, that was one my parents got me when I was a kid. And the blue bear is an homage to one my friends got for me because they think I'm a grumpy person. So that's why I have those two represented. It's not some fucking statement, you jerk. I love you though. Um, and Johnny's saying if you want classic DC, go to a toy show, pick up Loose Mattel. There you go. There you go. But really happy with the haul here and looking forward to it. So what's going to happen if you look behind me? You know those figures that are all across the top in front of Grayskull. After this show, they're going to come down. Those ones will go up there for a while. I'm going to do a video with all those figures that are up there, plus a couple that are hanging out, and then eventually those figures that you just saw will go into the review. So I'm kind of swapping them out. I'm trying to fulfill the promise of everything, right? So no one agrees finding OG superpowers for a decent price the way to go. There you go. All right. And Johnny says I have a big and little plush of both of those bears. I only have the big plush of the Grumpy. I will eventually get a Cheer one, just because again it's one my parents got me. But part of the reason you're seeing those on the halls, I think they're going to just be part of the halls all the time because the video coming this week, you might see more of those two bears in figure comparisons. I'm just saying. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. So, all that said, we got one more piece of news, and I want to use this to kind of springboard into a larger conversation. Okay. So, our last news piece is that Diamond Comics Distributors is suing GameStop for almost $3 million. I'm not going to read all of this to you, but the short version is that they canceled orders recently for the first time in like 25 years. They've been doing business, these two companies, and they canceled 87 purchase orders that had already been submitted and accepted, the total contract price of almost $1 million. And I guess they're suing for additional damages for some reason. And the Diamond claims that the products of issue were already ordered and paid for by Diamond, the company, and they were obligated to pay for them. And GameStop canceling that really kind of kills their business a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Uh, but I find it interesting that after 25 years, they cancel $1 million worth of orders, and Diamond freaks out. Now I understand why they might do that, but you know, they closed over 400 stores in 2020. Now, depending upon April of this year, which is what they're saying here, April of 2022, is when they canceled certain accepted purchase orders that were not yet delivered. So it's I honestly have no idea what's happening. It just feels like something's going on over at GameStop. Whether they couldn't afford it, or I don't know what happened. I don't claim to know, but I find I've never seen this before. Um, it's like you also have to figure that Diamond was originally like this exclusive distributor for comic book companies, and they lost those rights themselves. So maybe this is them trying to get a cash grab, like Nolan is saying. He says to him, Diamond's just a parasite corporation, sell them to someone else. There you go. There you go. Sell them to somebody else. There's going to be someone that wants these things. And Zazel's here. What's up, mate? Good to see you. But I find that interesting that you have a company that says, hey, you bought all this stuff. We haven't sent it to you yet. And then you cancel the order. I mean, if I went to Big Bad or Amazon or anywhere else as a person, and order something and cancel it before it ships, they can't sue me, as far as I know. And business to business sales. I mean, I used to work for a company called Tiger Direct where we sold in bulk from business to business. If someone canceled an order before we shipped it, we didn't sue them no matter how big the contract was. In our case, part of it was because we already had the stuff in house. Like we had a warehouse, we already had stock, right? Um, so what it sounds like Diamond was doing was taking an order and then taking a pre-order in essence. This is why it's funny to me. GameStop pre-ordered these items from Diamond. Diamond grabbed them, and then GameStop canceled before they shipped. And Diamond's like, "What the fuck? What am I supposed to do?" And it's weird. Do I think that there's a lot more to the story? I do. I have a feeling there's a lot more going on here, and although I have empathy for a company that's being stuck with $1 million worth of product, I also feel that there's got to be more to the story as to why they're making this move. It's a very dangerous thing to bite the hand that feeds you in this case. Um, and Johnny Sorensen says GameStop's run by monkeys on typewriters. Doesn't surprise me after employee abuses, closures, NFTs, no direction. Fair, fair. Jason Garcia says maybe it's a restocking fee kind of thing, but blowing it way out of proportion. Yeah, makes sense. It's something that you just don't see this kind of thing too often. You know, um, and if they win this lawsuit, what's that going to mean for GameStop? What's that going to mean for businesses doing business? You know what I mean? I think it's interesting that you could just say, "Hey, you canceled all this. Like, what are you doing?" Well, if you didn't provide the product, what's the big deal? And I understand that they're probably getting direct from manufacturer. The manufacturer's not going to take them back necessarily. But I love Gojatron's take on this. He says, corporate on corporate crime. Let them fight. I agree. I want to see what happens, though. I want to see what happens. Bill Wifta, with a great point, he says, I have no love for either GameStop or Diamond. Neither do I. I don't really buy from either of those companies very much. Um, it's when you see like two particularly predatory corporations go after each other, it's like it's like that gif of Michael Jackson in Thriller, like eating popcorn. That's what it's like. And it- I want to see where it goes. So I want to follow this story as far as I can. Um, Will McLaughlin says they're asking for 3 million because they know GameStop will be like, best I can give you is like $20. That's a trade-in joke if you know anything about GameStop, which I know Will does. That's crazy. That's funny. Yeah, it's like the ultimate haggle. Start at 3 million, end up with like $50. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. Absolutely nuts. Um, and it's in a day and age where this can happen. It's like not only can this happen, but we're getting this kind of news. And I want to thank our friends over at Toy Newsy for breaking this news to us via bleedingcool.com. I don't go to bleedingcool.com for some reasons that I hope are obvious, but it's nice that some place that I actually can read has it here as well. And from what we understand, according to this was filed on the 20th. At the time of press, GameStop hadn't responded. And why would they? Why would they? You know, um, but it's fun. It's fun times when these corporations start to eat each other up, right? We'll see what happens. Now, I was worried this week. It felt like there wasn't a lot of toy news, and I think we're getting into that time of the year. Like a lot of these companies have kind of blown their load a little bit. Um, but you've got things like PulseCon, which that's coming up, so they have to have stuff to reveal there. What are they going to try and rip us off on there? Um, PowerCon's already come and gone, and Mattel was not there, but they did their big thing at San Diego this year. Um, and with those being the two biggest players, and we got a lot of other trickle news, we kind of got overblown. No one says Serpentor. What about Serpentor? We know he's coming. Pictures are there, like they showed him off. Um, and Jason's saying, wait till New York Comic Con for the holiday season. Yeah, that's a good point. What about Serpentor? Like we know he's coming. Do you think that's going to be like the big pre-order, or do you think that's going to be? Do you think that's going to be a HasLab thing? I doubt that. Um, I don't know. You gotta give me more to work with, bruh. Um, I'm I know there's stuff coming, but it's weird coming from a couple months where it seemed like every week we did this, there was like 70,000 things to talk about. And I'm not mad about that. I'd rather take our time, talk about this stuff, really, go through the toys and everything and have some fun. Um, but it just seems weird when you consider how much news gets put out in such a short space of time, you might miss something. I don't know if they're really gaining anything from this. To me, it feels better like to just have something to talk about every week. From a marketing perspective, if you're always announcing something every week, that's kind of cool. But if you do all these crazy announcements in the course of one weekend, and you're competing with all these other companies making these crazy announcements in one weekend, what's the who does it benefit really? Really, like does it even benefit them? Because they're all competing for space and media. Whereas if they just used all of virtual spaces and timed things a little bit differently, it would make more sense. What I'm getting at is I think the time of revealing things at specific conventions, even ones that you're hosting yourself virtually, I think it's dead. I think it's dead. I think you should just reveal things when you're ready to reveal them and do it on a regular cadence and let people get excited about your product. And when you see they're not getting excited about something, that should be an indicator of what you're doing that's hitting versus not. Rather than just having this huge hype bomb and just assuming everything hit when some stuff isn't. Mantenna, binging your C-Raw box set. Hope you can get a Mantenna. They're in stock in several places, including Big Bad. They're not hard to find. Jim Largo says, "Remember when toy reveals in the USA when you went to the toy aisles the day after Thanksgiving for Christmas shopping?" Yes, yes. The camera's fuzzy on your end, probably because my internet is slow right now. So if you want me to, I'll go when I see that indicator go away. I'll go back over to the toys if you want. Johnny says Nintendo mostly does it right, sneaks out the news in quiet times. Yes, they do. They wait. They wait until they have like everyone's ear. PlayStation is trying to follow suit. They're not doing the best job. And Microsoft is just quietly probably the best gaming service out there right now. Bjorn with a little bit of a self promotion says, "Remember, people, my Walmart has all the cool stuff you like." It's true. It does. It do. It does. It do. Like for example, he saw 6 Rotons at his Walmart recently, and a fair amount of Origins, fair amount of other stuff. They haven't completed the restock yet, so there's still stuff coming. So depending on what you're looking for, Bjorn might be your guy. He's helped many people in this community out, including myself, multiple times. So if you're looking for stuff, he's a good dude to talk to. Good dude to talk to. Now, what I could do is let me do this. I will do my best. Get a picture here. No, I can't do it that way. Hang on. No. Yeah, it's not gonna work. Never mind. You did get a Roton recently. That's awesome. You found it locally then? Is that what you did? You actually left the house? Still better than majority of stuff on cable. I appreciate that. Go to Tron, grabbed a Roton the other day, just looking for the Predator repaints. Right on. Okay. You have a Mega Constructs Roton. We sold one of those at the last auction, as a matter of fact. Speaking of auctions, I recently got approved to sell through the Whatnot app. Now, I don't know if or when I'm going to do this. Yeah, you tend to do that, Mulvor, and that's okay. It's cool. It's good. It's okay. But your bags are here, dude. That you just they're here. I want you to have them. I did miss the last show. I'm going to actually one of the things I plan to do is watch it either tonight or tomorrow. Just haven't gotten around to it, so I'm sorry. Leonard 7-inch Predator. Okay. Okay. They're a Walmart exclusive, and they're $35 there. They're technically a pre-order, but they are showing up in retail stores in WalMarts. Nolan says, "Yeah, Serpentor isn't a new reveal, but from what I'm hoping, we'll get a regular release Serpentor, possibly without his sled." I would be okay with that, but at the same time, I just want a Serpentor. You know what I mean? So it's a thing. It's a whole thing. Um, I I enjoy hype to a certain degree, guys, because I get excited. Y'all have seen me get excited, but on the same token, like it's something where does that have to be manufactured in order to get me excited? Because there are some things that get revealed. I'm like, okay, well that's cool. Like when the cell revealed the sectars, I was like, what? What's the big deal? And then I looked them up, and I forgot the original Sectars, the figures were sold separately, and that with the big, monster things, it was a completely separate set. So it's something where my memory betrayed me, and it kind of lessened my excitement for something that was very cool. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Um, Now my cam has gone blank. Do not worry, I am still here. What I'm doing is I'm going to try and correct the the camera quality for you guys. So it just take me a second. Just take me a moment, and this should fix things a little bit. All right, this should be a little bit better. This should be a little bit better. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and show the toys again because someone was saying they couldn't see the camera. So we're going to leave this up for a while for those that didn't get a chance to see it. Um, you're right, Bill. The memory definitely cheats, dude. Daniel Dorian in the house says, "Even guys, what's with the toy reveals?" There's not a lot there in terms of what we were talking about, but we were just kind of talking about toy reveals in general. In general, Bjorn says that some companies overhype their stuff and others don't really hype their stuff at all. It's true too. That's true. Hal, is that you? Don't worry, Johnny. It's okay. It's that Pigman Jerry. That's right. It's Pighead, bruh. If there's anything you guys want to see up close, let me know. I'll go grab it. It's a live feed. I can just walk over there and grab it. But I gotta say, the more of these Action Force figures I get in my hand, and especially with him being a Series 2, man, they pose better. They feel better. Like, I can see why Series 1 kind of was a problem, per se. Um, but a little bit of hot water, they're fine. But the Series 2 is all the better. So everything from Series 2 on is just wonderful. Says, who's the guy next to the small Spider-Man? That is Kang, sir. Kang. On the left side of the screen there, that is Kang from the Marvel Comics. That's the version of Kang from the comics, which is my favorite version of Kang. Love Kang. And I hope that they do him justice in the films. I hope that they get the costume right. I think they picked an amazing actor to portray him, and I think it's going to be really cool, but we'll see. We will see. Cam did not clear up. Well, I know it's the connection speed, but what I was doing to hopefully help with the connection speed was lower my frame rate in camera, which is something that I did by mistake earlier. I put my frame rate up to 60, which isn't going to do any good here. I was hoping that the data throughput might have been solved, but it's not. It's not. It's okay. Matter of fact, I'll try one more thing. I'll try one more thing to try and make this work, guys, and see if maybe this will work. I don't know. So this might help. It probably won't, but it might. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know if this is going to be any better. It might be a little better. Yep, that Ghost Rider has the Toy Biz style packaging. You bet. It does. It does. It does. Wu Kang Clan. I mean, sure, if you're into that sort of a thing. Now, I still see the connections kind of crappy. No face on cam and out, bruh. No, I get it. Okay. No, it's worse. It's worse? Okay, great. Thanks. Appreciate that. I've done everything I can to make it as good as I possibly can. It is just the speed because in here we have flash flooding right now. Here in Dallas Fort Worth, and I guarantee you and it's been storming for days, and my internet connection has been spotty, and it was pretty bad. And I said, no, I'm not going to cancel. I'll just kind of go through it. But with the connection being as horrid as it is, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Q&A, and we'll go from there. Normally this week I would have a guest scheduled this week. I haven't spoken to anybody yet. So I'm going to reach out to a couple people potentially and see who I might want to have on for an in-depth interview and discussion. Um, and if that happens, I will schedule it and let you guys know. Otherwise, look for a video this Thursday, and it will be a revised version of the Marvel Selects Roundup, which is going to include a mini feature inside of it about how we're going to do scaling comparisons. It's Costanza vision. Just squint, people. Oh, go G. Says you're always fuzzy. It's the beard. Jim Largo says just a few more beers and the blurry picture will match my normal vision. Fair enough. And Jason's right. We needed the rain. We needed the rain. Yeah, we did need this, and it is nice and cool. So it works out. It works out. It works out. So that said, I think it was a good show. I enjoyed myself. I have a few more sips of water, and wait till we hit the hour mark, and then we'll call it a day. Before anyone asked, that was a red bottle of water that I put to my face. It wasn't like a hubcap or whatever it looks like. Ian Sweeney says, I'm curious about your opinions on the 2 Suicide Squad films to date. Hated the first one. Passionately hated the first Suicide Squad film. I think it completely missed the mark. I am a fan of the comic book, and I feel like the second one was very good. Still wasn't exactly the kind of Suicide Squad film I was hoping for, but it was a hell of a lot closer than the first one. I enjoyed the shit out of it, and I'm hoping for more. I also loved the Peacemaker series on HBO Max. It was really well done. So, in a world where those are the 2 options we have, give me the second one all day, every day. And the TV series was really good too. Yeah, Peacemaker was the TV show with Cena. I loved it. I thought it was great. Garcia says, if you want a good Suicide Squad movie, watch Batman Assault on Arkham anime movie. Yes, it is quite good. Newcastle says, what's up, Jim? Peacemaker's pretty cool. It sure is. It's quite good. Quite good. Yes. Yes. Jim Morgan says, what's the hubbub about the new release of the Star Trek motion picture? So, they did a complete revamp of effects and the edit, and really sped up the pacing of that film without losing anything in the process. So this new definitive cut, whatever they're calling it, it's available on Paramount Plus right now. You can, and the 4K is coming out in a couple weeks, and it is by far, it truly is a definitive edition of that film. And they've made it very clear in many interviews they're never going to do another one. And they don't have to, because it is so good, and it takes everything I ever griped with that movie about and just takes it away. I really, really enjoyed it. It's worth it. Anonymous dude asks what I think about John Cena's charisma as an actor. I think there's few people that have as much charisma as that guy does. He's a confident dude. He's a decent actor, and I think that as he gets older, he's kind of aged out of wrestling a little bit, and his acting skills, which have served him well in wrestling, are only getting better with age as he moves into the next phase of his career. And I hope that he keeps doing acting because he's really good at it. Ian Sweeney says, I felt let down with the absence of a recent Deadshot. The way he's portrayed the TV series Titans was really good. Fair enough. I would like to see Deadshot. I really would. A good Deadshot. Roman Cardboard says, as for the Diamond GameStop lawsuit, I think both companies are not doing too well, so GameStop canceled their order, and Diamond, who's also losing money, decided to sue to get their money. That's probably correct. But says, hot take, Cena has better range as an actor than The Rock. I would disagree that that's a hot take, because I think anyone with half a brain can tell that. I think Cena destroys The Rock as an actor. And The Rock's a pretty good actor. So I really think Cena's got legs to move as an actor. I really believe that. Johnny Swordson's binging his OG Trek TV box set. Picture restoration and sound are amazing. That's the kind of quality difference we're seeing in the motion picture with this new release. It's very good. Newcastle asks if I've heard about Eagle Moss going bankrupt. Yes, we reported on it last week, as a matter of fact, or 2 weeks ago or something. It's really horrible that there are people that are like far into these model kits and they're just never going to get the parts. It's a huge shame. It's a big problem, and it really it hurts the heart, man. It really hurts. It really hurts. Ah, no one's saying that he thinks Rock's the best wrestler actor crossover. I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Um, Jason Garcia says, "No, no, 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 that goes to Andre the Giant." I mean, y'all can have your little argument. Uh, and I'm not gonna talk crap about The Rock because again, he's a good actor. But when I look at everything that Cena has done, when you give him a good script and you give him room to perform, he does a good job. And if you haven't seen The Peacemaker, watch that before forming an opinion because he really does a good job in there, like truly. Um, Johnny Sorensen, they live, and that part was almost like a lot of that script was rewritten to kind of play to Roddy Piper's strengths, and I think he did such a great job in that movie. It really did. But that was the only movie I ever saw him in. Then you got football players like Brian Bosworth trying to launch an action film career, and that didn't go so great. You know, um, Jesse Ventura, not a horrible actor. He was in Predator. Um, Carl Weathers, you know. But I think that when it comes to um, wrestlers, their trade is acting to a certain degree, which is exactly what World Medic Cardboard's saying. Aren't wrestlers just acting anyway? You're right. Absolutely. It goes, put on the glasses. Put on the glasses, goddamn! I tell you. Can't you see them? They're everywhere. And I kind of love that Roddy Piper, in his most angry moments in that film, sounds like Vince McMahon. I kind of secretly love that about that film. It's really good. I just watched the movie last week again. I love that movie so much. Jim Largo asking if anyone has found the new McFarlane Superpowers Flash in the wild. To my knowledge, no one has in our peer group, but it is something we're all looking for. So please let us know if you see them. Yes, Jesse Ventura and Arnold were in 3 movies together. You are correct, sir. Running Man, Predator, and the third one escapes me. Third one escapes me. Jason Garcia wants to be a sexual Tyrannosaurus. I personally want to be a sexual Giganotosaurus. Anonymous dude says, Cena's the type of driven guy that'll end up being president one day. Rock 2, crazy driven. Of those two, if I had to pick between the two of them to be a presidential candidate, it would be Cena all the way. Because he's somebody who came into wrestling at a time where he was the underdog. He had to fight really hard to get where he was in the company, and all the while was probably one of the most, if not the most prolific when it came to giving his time to charities for children. Um, has been very, shall we say, consistent as a guy. Um, if he ran for political office, I would be hard pressed not to vote for him based upon his charisma alone. I don't know his politics. I don't know his politics at all. So I vote on the issues, guys. So we'll see. I mean, it'd be interesting to see that. Ian Sweeney says Roddy Piper was Immortal of the Week in an episode of the Highlander TV series. I would love to see that. Oh yeah, he was in Batman Forever. He was prison guard in Batman Forever. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, good pull. Good pull. Roman Cardboard says, I can't believe the first Predator movies had so many actors that turned politics. It's true. That did happen. Ventura, Schwarzenegger. Um, didn't Bill Duke do like a city councilman thing or something? Yeah, he's in the pallet display, but he's not necessarily going to be in every single store for some reason. It's weird. Dun, 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 dun. You said Cena is soft on China. I don't really know what that means. Like, I don't know. He said some statement about China's cool or I like egg rolls. I have no idea what he said, but I understand that. So we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. Um, but, so all of that said, guys, it's been a great show. I love hanging out with you guys. I look forward to it every week. But we will see you later this week, possibly with an interview if I can get someone to schedule, and definitely on Thursday with a feature premiere. So there you go. Hope you guys have a great week. We'll see you soon. Take care, guys. I love you. Good night.